How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. So I've just got one question for you today. In terms of the Rover, it's the first film that you've both written and directed since Animal Kingdom, which I'm sure you've heard a few times, all right, by now?
Yeah, really?
So I was just wondering, what, in terms of Australia, like really draws you to use that as a backdrop, considering like, you know, you've gone from the Melbourne streets to the Australian outback with Rover?
It's now been like 4 years, whatever, since Animal Kingdom was released. The first couple of years of that were me trying to work out what the hell to do. You know, what the hell to do with my life. You know, what movie to make, how to make it, how I wanted to work.
Yeah, right.
And once I'd spent a couple of years looking at all of the options that were available to me, I kind of came back to this idea that I already had, which was the Rover. And I really loved it because it was, you know, I loved it because it gave me the opportunity to play in a similar sort of tonal world to Animal Kingdom, but it was actually very different. It's very different on a formal level. You know, Animal Kingdom's a sort of heightened, sort of social realist crime drama. I love the idea of making a kind of really elemental, almost kind of fairy tale, like fabulistic sort of thing that was almost like a Western, like really intensely intimate, but in a totally empty landscape, you know.
So was it a conscious decision then to use the Australian as your kind of setting for the Rover? Or was this like the outback original idea that you had for the script?
Yeah, I mean, the world of the movie, the supposed sort of, you know, this kind of supposed collapse, this economic collapse that is the backdrop for the movie, felt particularly well suited to Australia for me. You know, it's an Australia a few decades in the future that has had, you know, in and around a kind of major Western economic collapse. Australia has reverted to being a sort of resource-rich third world country, you know, that with the mines that are still working, they're feeding China and Asia generally, and it felt like the perfect world to have a kind of new gold rush where people from all corners of the world were coming out to the desert.
Fair enough. Well, it sounds like it's going really well. It's critically acclaimed. So best of luck with it, mate, and thanks for the questions. Cheers, mate.
Thanks very much.